electric.com and enter your zip code.
License number TECL 34221.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Ooh, the big breaking news today. Coaching hires or firing, retiring all over the place. The biggest, 7-time national champ Nick Saban isn't retiring, according to ESPN's Chris Lowe. Pete Carroll is out in Seattle. Does that leave a possible opening for Dan Quinn? As Todd Archer reports, he definitely wants to be a head coach again. We'll discuss coming up here on Extra Innings with Pleasure.
SA Card House, San Antonio's premier card house, this Friday. R&R is broadcasting live on site. SA Card House ahead of the weekend festivities, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Come get your day started with us this Friday at one and only SA Card House at 281 in Bitters.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That goal is history. A walk-off home run.
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for tuning in to me tonight, whether that's on 94.1, sasportstar.com, or if you happen to be streaming live on our YouTube channel at SA Sports Star. I appreciate you. You can like, comment along, or you can call into the show, 210-656-ESPN. That is 210-656-3776. Lots to get into. The biggest bombshell of the day, though, that being the coaching free-for-all that is going on right now. So many fantastic jobs open, available. You look at situations, what fits best where, but the biggest that just came down earlier today, Nick Saban, according to ESPN's Chris Lowe, retiring after 28 seasons, 6 national championships at Alabama, 7 overall. And all of a sudden you have to start wondering, who's taking that job? Where are they going? Who replaces the GOAT at Alabama? And my mind starts spinning. First name that comes to mind is Steve Sarkisian. And if you're Alabama, that is the first name that I go after, period. Point blank, period, as Micah Parsons would like to say. I look at Steve Sarkisian, been at Alabama before, knows the big bright lights of a program being at USC and now Texas and leading them back to prominence. And I'll tell you this, and this is probably the main reason I'm going after Steve Sarkisian. I know if I get Steve Sarkisian, there's a good chance that I get Arch Manning to follow. Now, will Alabama end up with him? Does he say yes? Does he want to go back to Alabama? Or does Texas just pony up and it's a moot point at the end of the day anyway? That's the first swing of the axe, though. 100%. Whether it happens or not, that is the most logical thing, because I know I'm getting Arch Manning if I get Steve Sarkisian. It just makes a lot of sense. Other names that you would consider, I think Dan Lanning makes a lot of sense up at Oregon. Oregon now going into the Big Ten. Big Ten, if I'm Dan Lanning going into the Big Ten, look, I'm going into a tough conference. I get that the SEC is the perceived tougher conference, but if I'm going to go into a tough conference anyway, wouldn't I want the deck weighted in my favor? And by going to Alabama, the deck is weighted in your favor. So why not go back to where you've been up at Alabama before you went with Kirby to Georgia before taking that job at Oregon? I think that makes a lot of sense if I'm Dan Lanning, especially with the money that would possibly come with going to an Alabama. Do you try and get Kirby Smart to come back? Do you try and steal from within your own conference in the SEC and bring him back to Alabama to replace Nick Saban, the prodigal son? Because you know he's done it. He built a program. He can do it. Can you get him to come back? Do you go for a Dabo Swinney, whose time may be done at Clemson? But if I'm Alabama, do I want Dabo Swinney? Dabo Swinney, great coach, but you wonder with NIL and the changing landscape of college football, is Dabo willing to adjust the way that Nick Saban did to continue to keep his program relevant? That's a big question. There are a lot of dominoes that can fall along the way when you look at a Nick Saban and that job opening. Then you've got Jim Harbaugh up at Michigan. Is he going to make the jump to the NFL? They've got a championship parade coming up. I imagine he is postponing any decision until after that championship parade. And then after it's over, does he go to the NFL after hiring Don Yee, an NFL agent? If so, Mike Greenberg seems to think he has a good idea of where he may end up.
One of the most important benefactors of the University of Michigan was a man named Ira Harris, lived and died with the program. And he did die early last year. I went to the funeral and Harbaugh was there. After the funeral, Jim and I just sort of got to talking. The conversation had nothing to do with him leaving Michigan, literally nothing. Interested in talking about how much great young quarterback talent there is in the NFL. Jim went on and on and on about Herbert. That's the guy he loves. He thinks Herbert is phenomenal. That's always stuck in my mind. And it's there. The job is open, and he may be going to the NFL. So there's no way for me not to put those two things together.
Question is, with the Spanos family that owns the Chargers, who is known as a cheaper run franchise because of that family, would they pony up what it costs to bring in a Jim Harbaugh as a head coach? Because you talk about ready-made situation to walk into. You've got the quarterback. You've got fantastic pieces offensively, whether it's Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. You look at the defensive side of the football. You got Derwin James, Nick Bosa, Khalil Mack. I mean, they have pieces across the board. Asante Samuel Jr. Like, they've got pieces everywhere. It's not like it would take a lot to turn the Chargers around. And they're playing at SoFi Stadium, one of the premier stadiums in the NFL. Speaking of the possible Saban effect, you look at what's happening in Alabama. 5-star receiver, number 9 overall recruit, wide receiver Ryan Williams decommits after Saban retires, opening back up his recruitment. You're going to see a lot of that until they have a coach in place to take the helm at Alabama. So Alabama is going to have to be quick on their coaching hire to stop the bleeding of what will be the transfer portal and commits and saving a recruiting class. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of that plays out. The other side of that in the NFL, Pete Carroll out in Seattle. What does that mean? As reports are, Dan Quinn definitely wants to be a head coach again. It's not a hard dot to connect. We'll discuss it next right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's R&R in the morning.
Thursday on R&R in the morning. If not now, then when for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys to cash in on the Super Bowl? We discussed the latest article from Todd Archer on ESPN and 7 o'clock, Silver and Black.
Texas is back, baby. Well, at least in the top 25, and early ones out. We'll tell you where they landed. It's going to be fun to talk about, so get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax, 100% natural male enhancement formulas, only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Paid actor portrayal.
Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. In 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected.
Ethos fast and easy online term life insurance up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save up to 40% on molding bulk savings packs. And there's more. Save up to 25% on drywall boards when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-384-1340. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-384-1340. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-384-1340.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The smarter way to clean your floors It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I'm a little bit off the wall. What you need, ADHD for me.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com, on YouTube at SA Sports Star. And don't forget, you can go to sasportstar.com right now and sign up for our New Year, New Cash, where you can win $2,024. It's real simple. You just go to sasportstar.com, sign up, and you too could win yourself $2,024 to kick off the new year. A lot of coaching moves going around, and the big one in the NFL today that was actually a huge surprise was the fact that Pete Carroll is out in Seattle. And Pete Carroll being out opens the door for Dan Quinn, because I saw the report earlier today from Todd Archer that he definitely wants to be a head coach again, he being Dan Quinn. And he's passed on the last 2 cycles. And this cycle, there are a lot of jobs that have arisen. But his wording was such as he wants to be a coach again and would if the right opportunity would arise. Teams that have already reached out to him to request an interview: the Chargers, Commanders, and Panthers. And today, it seems like the Tennessee Titans are targeting Dan Quinn, and they have requested an interview with him. But with the opening now of the Seattle job, which he coached there, won a Super Bowl, was the defensive coordinator behind the Legion of Boom, do those ties ring tight enough to where he would be the successor to a Pete Carroll up in Seattle, knowing that division, having been there before, having success there? Or does he want to try something else and go to where there's another opportunity for him? Look, it's not hard. The only thing that is not appeasing about the Los Angeles Chargers job, which he has been requested for, by the way, and he could reunite with Kellen Moore there, who was on that coaching staff. The only thing that is not appeasing about that Chargers job is the fact that they're in the AFC West and would be in the same division with Patrick Mahomes. But you're a defensive guy. I don't think that scares you. I mean, if you go to the NFC West, you've got to deal with the San Francisco 49ers in that division. So I don't think that's a tough one in terms of where would you feel most comfortable. If I have my choice of jobs, I want the one that's going to set me up in the best position to be successful in the long run. Both are very enticing. One has a quarterback. That may be the deal breaker for me, or the one that tips the scale one way or the other. But if I'm a defensive guy, it's hard not to look at what Seattle's built over there with Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen and not go, man, it's a couple of really good corners. And I'm leaving from one that has a Trayvon Diggs and a Stephon Gilmore and a Deron Bland. It's hard not to look at what's in Seattle, especially in the secondary, and go, that's really enticing. Especially offensively, when you look at Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. There's a lot of pieces to like there because the Chargers are likely losing Austin Eckler. Mike Williams is coming off an ACL injury. Keenan Allen's getting up there in age. At least with Seattle, you have young talent. The quarterback's not there, but can you keep the Penix kid in Seattle? Do you roll with Geno and Drew Lock as you bring him up to speed? Goldfinger123 on our YouTube live feed says, Quinn to me is the equivalent to Mike Vrabel. Look, I love Mike Vrabel. I think he is a fantastic head coach, and the Titans made a mistake letting him go. This is a guy who took a Ryan Tannehill-led team to the number 1 seed in the AFC. I know he's had a couple of losing seasons, but look what's in Tennessee. It's not like there's a ton of talent there. And then they chipped away the talent he did have in A.J. Brown. So Vrabel's going to land on his feet somewhere, and he'll be just fine. Tina's asks, if Dan Quinn leaves, will Micah and others follow when their contracts expire? Look, others may. Micah's not one of them in terms of Jerry Jones isn't going to allow that. You're going to, whether, or he's going to prolong it if he does try to, as long as possible. But there's going to be franchise tags. There's going to be the richest defensive player contract in NFL history. Those things are going to come with Micah Parsons. Now, can they afford to keep a Deron Bland when his contract is up? Now that they're paying Trayvon Diggs and they're going to have to pay Micah and they're going to have to pay Dak and they're going to have to pay CD? That's another question. But look, when a coach goes to another team, that coach brings in usually familiar talent because it helps to implement their scheme. Look in Houston. DeMeco Ryans comes in. They bring in Jimmy Ward. They brought in Jason Barrett at one point, former 49er. They brought Kinlaw on the defensive line. Like, you bring in players to help initiate the scheme that you're going to run who are familiar with what you've done from previous locations. Are they the marquee players? No, but you do bring in players that from the previous stop that will help to coach things. So there will be an attrition of sorts, at least with free agents that leave and follow Dan Quinn. I expect it. Will it be the big players, the splash players? I doubt it. But if Leighton Vander Esch's contract comes up, does he try and sign him up there? If, J-Ron Curse, those are names that I would expect to see go up or over to wherever Dan Quinn eventually decides is going to be his next spot. But it's a great fan base in Seattle. It's a great stadium. It's good ownership. And it's a place that Dan Quinn knows. As soon as the news broke, I dropped into the group chat. Oh, wow. Pete Carroll out in Seattle. I was like, Quinn? That was my initial response because it just makes too much sense. It's a lot like drawing the comparison of if Bill Belichick's out in New England, Mike Vrabel. It's a simple A to B straight line comparison in terms of it just makes too much sense not to happen. Will it? Is it a certainty? Absolutely not. But it feels like it is a good probability. And the fact that earlier in the day, Todd Archer's report about him wanting to be back in coaching and right opportunity arising, and then a little bit later in the day, we get the Pete Carroll news. It feels a little more than coincidence that those two things happened at the same time. But look, you managed to keep Dan Quinn from 2 consecutive coaching hire cycles in which he was arguably, if not the hottest, one of the top 2 or 3 hottest names on that coaching carousel. To be able to hold him off that long, congratulations to Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, but coaches want to coach. And a lot of people, look, he is a head coach that got a team to a Super Bowl. It's not like he's a bad head coach. And all coaches eventually, unless they're Nick Saban and get to step away on their own terms, eventually it doesn't end well for you at some point. I think Dan Quinn's a great coach, and I think that his next opportunity, if he chooses correctly, could be one that sets him up as possibly another one of the better coaches in the NFL going to another great team, whether that is going to be Los Angeles with the Chargers or Seattle with the Seahawks. It all depends on what Dan Quinn values most in his next stop, if he were to so choose it. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. Coming up next, the greatest NFL draft team building social experiments going on right now in the NFL. I'm not sure if there is a wrong answer to what they're going to do, but the Chicago Bears have one of the most intriguing create your own adventures on how to build a franchise. We'll break it down, get into it, and see which path they should choose if they're going to build a team correctly, and could it be a blueprint for the rest of the NFL? We'll discuss next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Cowboys and Packers.
1, 2, 3, Cowboys! Yeah!
The playoffs are here.
I like this kind of party. Let's go down. You fired the first shot.
Sunday afternoon at 2:30.
Prescott's going to throw it in the left side of the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys.
Hear it here.
How about them Cowboys?
Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds, the law office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, Ewald Kubota, Mother's Window Tint, Woods Comfort Systems, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive?
Revive Men's Health San Antonio can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive San Antonio. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, you're going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
The best place to catch the NFL action this weekend is at Twin Peaks. And this Sunday, San Antonio Sports Star will be live out at the Twin Peaks Park North location to cheer on the Cowboys. Come Sunday Fun Day with us, starting at 1. 29-degree beer, tasty snacks served up by the lovely ladies at Twin Peaks, and your chance to win some cool prizes with me, James Fletcher. That's this Sunday out at the Twin Peaks Park North location starting at 1. The best place to watch the Cowboys is at Twin Peaks. 4 San Antonio locations to serve you.
It's the Mike McCarthy Show every Friday morning at 7 and 9 with R&R in the morning.
I'm all about winning. So when it has to do with winning, then it's part of our operation, our messaging, and our outlook.
A look at the Cowboys' upcoming game presented by AA Best Bail Bonds and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The NFL is on 94.1
Never leave it
San
on.
Antonio Sports Star.
All day, going up and down so constantly.
Catching up on some comments on our YouTube feed. Fred Villarreal says Quinn is gone. And the question is, if Quinn's gone, who takes over the defense? And is that a scary concern for you? Because remember when it was Mike Nolan? Remember the reason Quinn's here? Would Quinn's guys like Al Harris follow him? It's just interesting. Do you go after a Wink Martindale who just got let go in New York? all pertinent questions, I think, as it pertains to Dan Quinn, the Dallas Cowboys, and the future of what could possibly be. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me. You can always get at the show, 210-656-ESPN, 210-656-3776. I'm going to be out at the Twin Peaks Park North for a Cowboys pregame from 1 to 3 on Sunday. So Twin Peaks Park North, roll through. Let's get ready for the Cowboys game as they get set to take on the Packers. I think the Chicago Bears this offseason is the most intriguing storyline in NFL team building, because I'm not sure that there's a wrong answer, but there always is. There's always a wrong answer. Now, there is a generational, quote-unquote, prospect coming out in Caleb Williams. Drake May is very, very highly thought of by NFL draft pundits. I have yet to really start working on Drake May. There are things I like about Caleb Williams. There are things that I don't so far. Michael Penix, at least seeing the Michigan game with the pressure he faced, makes you want to go back and watch a few more things. But I will say that the Bears are in a very premium situation, because Justin Fields played extremely well down the stretch. And it gives you pause to be like, But there is nothing more valuable in the NFL than a quarterback on a rookie deal. Justin Fields still is, but you can restart that clock and continue to build, as they have 2 first-round picks this year. Dealing with Carolina, they have their number 1 overall pick, and you can get the generational prospect and build around it. Or you can continue to roll with Justin Fields, who has played into that top 10 to 12 to 15 conversation towards the back half of this season. And then look at what the defense did. They traded for Sweat, and Eberflus got them in the second half of the season. They were 7th in adjusted DVOA. They're one of the better defenses in the NFL over the So what could you do if, let's say, New England or Washington wants to jump up to select their guy, whether it's May or Williams or whoever it may be? You can move back 1 or 2 spots. You can get another weapon to pair with DJ Moore in a Marvin Harrison Jr., get more picks, continue to build out your roster. And even if Justin Fields doesn't pan out over the next couple of years, if this is a flash in the pan, then you can move on. But by getting rid of their offensive coordinator, you can bring in an offensive mind that can build the offense around a Justin Fields that is more suited to him and his skill set, the way that Todd Monken has with Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, and the way it was built around with not Nick Sirianni, but Shane Steichen, and see if you can get an offensive coordinator that can best capitalize on Justin Fields' skill set, along with how he's played as this season's gone on. Look, there are only about 10 to 15 great quarterbacks in the NFL anyway. If you have one that is already knocking on that door, pulling the plug on that, there is no guarantee that the next thing will be a great thing. So if you've got one that's already starting to trend that way, and he's 3 years in, he can continue to trend up. Look, this year didn't have a quote-unquote generational quarterback in it, yet C.J. Stroud turned out to be, at least from the way his rookie season has started, generational in the terms of how he's played in his rookie year. It's historic. Justin Fields is still trending upwards and getting better. You pair him with an offensive coordinator that can best utilize his skill set, build around him with more weapons like a Marvin Harrison Jr., offensive line, more defensive side of the ball, continue to get picks. Look, you're going to have to pay Justin Fields sooner, but you're going to have a lot more picks because of trading back out of that number 1 pick to where you can continue to build that team with young, cheap talent in terms of draft picks that will continue to keep costs low despite having to pay a quarterback sooner. Or you could just hit reset on the whole thing, go get a quarterback, and start the whole cycle over again. It's a very interesting social experiment on what's going to happen with Chicago. Me personally, I would build around Justin Fields. I've seen enough. His arrow is still pointing up, and the ability to trade back a few spots, continue to accumulate more assets. And if it doesn't work, then okay, fine. I can use those assets and then move up and get a quarterback later. Justin Fields, if he's traded and he goes to, say, an Atlanta, who still needs a quarterback, and becomes something, all of a sudden Chicago looks like the fool. Now, they also look like the fool if Caleb Williams turns out to be the next Patrick Mahomes. But it's which is the greater thing? Which has the greater success rate of happening? Justin Fields, who has been trending on an upward level, continuing to trend that way, being put in a proper system that best utilizes all of his assets, and he continues to get better in the NFL, or a guy sight unseen coming into the NFL and being one compared to the greatest quarterback in the league today, in Patrick Mahomes. Which one has a more realistic opportunity? I would say Justin Fields. I like trading down. I like acquiring more assets, and I like the ability to build that roster around Justin Fields, because that's one of the issues the Bears have had and why they've been so bad is the talent level hasn't been up to par. Now you have a chance to really build out that roster with young premium talent around a franchise quarterback, which is the best way to build a team in the NFL. I'm not sure that there's a wrong answer unless one of the quarterbacks turns into be a bust. But I do. If I was personally manager of the Bears, I would find me an offensive coordinator that can best utilize the skill set that Justin Fields offers. And then after that, I would make sure that I trade back one or two spots so I can still get Marvin Harrison Jr. And either New England or Washington, whatever. Y'all bid against each other. I don't care which one. You go get your quarterback, I get my receiver, and I got a lot of picks to build around Justin Fields in the future because he's shown me a lot towards the end of this season. Goldfinger123 says the offensive coordinator from Washington. Maybe so. I appreciate you guys rolling with me today. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. Coming up next, we got some college hoops right here on San Antonio Sports Star. It gets started coming up here in just a few seconds. But I appreciate everybody for rolling in here. So many QB&E teams. Look, it's hard to find a quarterback. I think you have one. Do not punt on that quarterback. College basketball next, right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM and sasportstar.com.
This is Compass Media Network's presentation of NCAA basketball.
And they're going right back into Renault. They think they got a mismatch, but that key can't guard him.
He spins off the front.